Dear soul, take a deep breath and gently open your heart. Right now, your angels are very close to you. They are surrounding you with love and light, ready to share something very special. This message is not ordinary. It's something deeply spiritual and also meaningful in your real life. It's about you, your journey, and something truly incredible that has happened. A famous writer has written about you in a book, but not just any book, a music book filled with deep emotion, creativity, soul, and beauty. What they shared about you wasn't small or simple. It was something powerful, something that could only be written after truly seeing your heart and spirit. And the reason they saw you so clearly is because your life itself is a melody, one filled with high and low notes, light and shadow, but always guided by divine love. At first, this might be hard to believe. You may wonder why someone so well known would write about you. You may question if you're truly that inspiring or important. But as the angels explain this story, you will begin to understand that nothing in your life has been a coincidence. Every moment, every joy, every pain, every decision you've made has been part of a bigger plan. This message is here to help you see just how important you are and how your life has been quietly making waves in the hearts of others, including this famous writer. The angels begin this message by showing us the energy of a powerful card from the tarot, the Magician. This card is all about creation, power, and transformation. It tells us that you have a rare ability to take a dream, an idea, or even a simple thought, and turn it into something real. You have a gift for making things happen, for bringing imagination into the physical world. And that's exactly what the writer saw in you. They were deeply touched by how you live with purpose, how you don't just wish for better, you work for it, and you manifest it. To the writer, you were not just a person with dreams. You were a person who took action. They saw how you brought beauty and creativity into everything you did, how you lit up spaces with your ideas, and how your spirit made things come alive. Whether it was through music, words, movement, or your energy, your magic was undeniable. The writer was so moved by this that they chose to include your story in their book, showing the world what it means to live with purpose and power. Through the eyes of the Magician, the writer described you as someone with a bright, creative soul, someone who didn't just sit back and wish, but who stepped forward and shaped their own path. They saw how your thoughts were aligned with your actions, how your heart and your hands worked together to build something meaningful. And in telling your story, the writer gave others a gift, a chance to believe in their own power, too. But the angels want you to know that the writer didn't only write about your victories. They told the truth about your whole journey, including the parts that were difficult. That's where the energy of the Devil card comes in. At first, this card might sound frightening, but it actually carries a beautiful and healing message. It represents the times when you were trapped by fear, by doubt, by painful habits, or by people who didn't value you. It tells the part of your story where you struggled, where you had to face your inner shadows. The writer was brave enough to write about those parts too. They didn't skip over the pain or pretend you were perfect. Instead, they honored your truth. They wrote about the times when you felt stuck or broken, the times when you couldn't see a way forward. But more importantly, they wrote about how you kept going. They saw the courage it took for you to say, "I've had enough," and choose something better. Whether it was walking away from a harmful relationship, healing from emotional wounds, or finally putting yourself first, you did it. You made a decision to take your power back, and that decision was life-changing. The writer described these turning points with such respect and understanding. They wanted the world to know that healing is not about being flawless. It's about being honest. It's about choosing growth, even when it's painful. They showed how your story is a light for others who are still struggling. They wanted readers to see that even in darkness, freedom is possible. Your journey through the devil's energy taught others that they don't have to stay stuck. They can rise, just like you did. Next, the angels guide us to the joyful energy of the Three of Cups. This card brings happiness, connection, and celebration. It represents the beautiful, loving energy you bring to others. In this part of the book, the writer shared how your presence has the power to lift people up. They wrote about how you bring people together, how you create safe spaces where love and laughter can grow, and how your spirit lights up the room. Maybe they described special moments, gatherings, parties, musical performances, deep conversations, or times when your love brought healing to others. You may not always realize the impact you have, but the writer saw it clearly. They saw how people feel seen and accepted around you. They noticed how your heart opens doors for others. Your ability to make people feel loved and included is a rare gift. The writer wanted to honor that. They wanted readers to see that being kind, being joyful, being open-hearted, that matters. It changes lives. This part of your story shows how deeply you care about others. Whether you're comforting a friend, sharing your music, or simply being present, you make a difference. The writer celebrated your ability to spread happiness, to create unity, and to remind people of what really matters: love, connection, and joy. But even with all this light, the writer didn't forget the times when you had to make hard choices alone. That's when the angels show us the Eight of Cups. This card represents the part of your journey when you had to walk away from things that no longer served your soul. In the book, the writer spoke about how you made brave decisions to leave behind comfort or familiarity because you knew, deep down, that something greater was calling you. You may have had to say goodbye to old ways of living, to people you once loved, or to paths that didn't align with your truth. These choices weren't easy. They took strength. The writer described how your journey became more spiritual, more inward. They saw how you began asking bigger questions. Who am I really? What is my purpose? What does my soul need? And they honored the way you didn't run from those questions. You embraced them, even when it meant walking alone for a while. This part of your story was especially moving because it showed the depth of your soul. It showed that you weren't chasing success or approval. You were searching for meaning. And that's a rare and powerful thing. The writer wanted readers to understand that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is walk away from what's easy and walk toward what's real. Your story gave them hope that they could do the same. And then comes the Nine of Wands. This card is all about endurance, strength, and never giving up. The writer wrote about your battles, the emotional ones, the physical ones, the ones no one else saw. They saw how many times life tried to break you down. They saw the disappointments, the heartbreak, the moments when you felt like giving up. But they also saw something even stronger: your will to keep going. You may have cried behind closed doors, You may have felt tired, wounded, or defeated, but you didn't quit. You kept standing, even when it hurt. And that's what the writer captured so beautifully, your unbreakable spirit. They wrote about the strength it took to keep your dreams alive, to keep showing up for yourself and others, even when everything felt heavy. They wanted readers to see that true strength isn't loud or flashy. It's in the quiet courage to rise again, to keep trying, to believe that things can get better. You became a symbol of that hope. You showed people that healing is possible, that dreams are worth protecting, and that even the hardest seasons eventually pass. And now, we come to the final card, the one filled with the brightest light, the sun. This card represents joy, success, clarity, and celebration. The writer ended your story in the most beautiful way, by showing the world your light. They wrote about how you shine, how you bring warmth, laughter, and truth wherever you go. They described your presence as healing, like sunlight after a long storm. They wrote about how your joy isn't just something you feel, it's something you give. Your light makes others feel seen, hopeful, and alive. And the most beautiful part? You earned that light. It didn't come easily. It came from everything you went through, the healing, the choices, the strength, the love. The writer wanted the world to know that your happiness wasn't handed to you. It was built, step by step, from the ashes of your pain. And that's what makes it so inspiring. They also wrote about how you help others find their own light. You don't just shine. You help others believe that they can shine too. Your words, your music, your kindness, your truth, all of it helps people wake up to who they really are. You are more than a light. You are a guide. Through all these chapters, the angels say the writer captured your full story. Not just the happy moments, but the hard ones too. Not just the victories, but the struggles, the healing, the becoming. And that's what makes your story so powerful. It's real. It's honest. It's sacred. This is not just a compliment or a lucky event. The angels say this is part of your divine path. Your story was meant to be shared. It was meant to help others grow, to help them heal, to help them believe again. The fact that a famous writer saw this in you and felt called to write about it is proof that you are walking a path of purpose. You are not here by accident. Your life has meaning. Your voice matters. Your story was written because someone needed to read it. And through it, they will be changed. That is the gift you've given the world just by being who you are. So, dear soul, hold this message close to your heart. Let it remind you of your power. Let it help you see yourself the way others do, especially those who see the light in you. Let it give you strength to keep going, to keep sharing, to keep trusting the journey. You are a creator, a healer, a survivor, and a light. You are loved. You are celebrated. And you are being guided every step of the way. The angels are proud of you. The universe is cheering you on. And now, your story will continue to shine through the words of someone who saw your truth and honored it. You were seen. You were written about. You were chosen. Keep shining. Amen.